Howdy, 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 and welcome to episode 11 of the Dirt Info podcast. Today, we're going to recap the World of Outlaws from Volusia, preview the mods coming up at Volusia as well, and then we'll also talk Ocala from this weekend and a little bit of Central Arizona to end the show. Um, with that, Julian, you always remind us like in the middle of the show, but let's start out right now. Where can everyone find us? And then also, where can they find you?
Yeah, so you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts now. That's our latest edition. You can also find me at WhoaNelly Racing on Twitter/X. Also on Instagram. Don't really use it. Should probably use it. Then also on Facebook. Don't use it enough. Probably should use it a little bit more. And
Working
then
on it.
I think Carter has a few pages too.
I have one page. You can just find me on Twitter, Carter_Bushy, Bouche. It's pretty much only thing I post is when I'm at a racetrack, so I won't blow up your feed too much. And then, I guess if you want, Josh, we can start on Volusia and the World of Outlaw late models. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and I think the main
Well,
thing from
Garrett
that,
Alberson.
yeah, it was that. That's the main thing. Is Garrett Alberson uh, got his second national tour win. First one was
I
at
believe
Port
so.
Royal with Lucas. And I didn't realize, I was surprised to find out both of his wins came at half miles. I don't know. I think of Garrett Alberson, and I think of like, maybe not quarter miles, but just smaller tracks.
You,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's done well in his limited starts in summer nationals this past summer, so I think that's a fair one. Also, I would mention just one thing I threw in our Discord is I thought that was a statement win for Alberson. I will say that I thought that was a statement win driving around JD like that. That's I mean, there's some wins that just mean a little bit more, and it's not often you see a guy go back around JD like that. So I just thought it was a really impressive win, probably the statement win of his career so far.
well, I mean, Alberson might be this probably the second hottest late model driver in the country this year. He's the only other guy to win at Votto besides Bobby Pierce. And then
Hmm.
he wins at Volusia. And not only did he duel JD, he drove down Jimmy Owens, who looked like he was gone, blew his doors off. And
Yeah,
then, I mean, he went to, like, he didn't duel with JD, he went to war with him. I mean, he didn't flinch. I mean, he looked like he belonged there. I mean, this might be Garrett Alberson's really coming out party, and then it's kind of the year of the coming out party because you had Bruning picked up his first national win at Golden Isles a week or two ago. So I mean,
yeah,
maybe that's
yeah.
just a theme going into the season. Yeah, I
I
thought.
don't
I
know,
mean,
Dustin burned it down for a W to first night at Volusia. So like that's kind of a little bit of a statement win too. Like we're here to party. We're here like we're coming for the championship. I guess that's how I read it a little bit of like we're putting it on the line. We want to win.
and Hoffman was. Sorry, Carter. I was just gonna say Hoffman was really quick. He had some bad luck, but drove through the field I think twice after flat tire and spinning. So I mean, it wasn't really the story of Bobby Pierce, World of Outlaws. It was kind of everyone else stepping up. So
That's what I was going to add too. Three National Series races, and we have not had a Ricky Thornton Jr. or a Bobby Pierce win them yet. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, it may sound blasphemous, but they looked slow. Like they did they were non-factors, that's for sure, right? I mean, I think Ricky missed a feature one night, maybe both even. I can't recall, um
he
but
missed
yeah, it
the
was just
first one. I think. I think he missed Friday, and then I think he spun. Or no, he got in a crash in the B main on Friday, and then I think he
yeah, that's
spun
close.
or broke or something on Saturday. But I mean, he
Yeah.
was. I mean, I don't know what's going on there. I think he has a new crew chief, a new
yep,
entirely new crew. That probably has
Yeah.
something to do with it, but it's kind of an interesting storyline.
his
And
other
then
crew
the
chief
main,
is racing from last year. So Chris
yeah,
Madden.
and then
Yeah.
I mean Cody Overton's leading the points in World of Outlaws. Not Brandon Overton, Cody Overton.
Yeah.
Like, what is going on with late models this year? I mean, it's like everything's upside down, makes no sense.
Yeah. Well, like even like when you said Albertson chased down Owens, Owens is in like this mystery chassis of his own making. Like I don't know, it just feels a little. It is a little different out there, and Owens has been pretty fast in that. I think of the 3 or 4 national shows we've got in, he's been up the front, up towards the front in a couple of them. So yeah,
And
um,
Here's an interesting thing about Jimmy Owens. I forget who posted it. It might have been Kyle McFadden. Probably someone else. They posted a picture of the four wide of Volusia, and Jimmy Owens was on the front row of the four wide. His car was so skewed compared to other drivers, and I could see Nick Hoffman's behind it kind of looked similar, and then obviously Devin Moran kind of runs
Yep.
that. No one else
Yeah.
though in the picture really looked like Jimmy Owens, so it's interesting what they have cooking there, and if that was something to do with his speed at Volusia on the half mile.
Yep.
Yeah.
Track that is
Well,
very, very aero dependent, so that could be a huge factor.
yeah. Yeah. Although I don't know if there was that much arrow on Friday. Friday was a little that was whoever had the best four-wheel drive, I think.
I think I mentioned during the race to Carter. I posted on Twitter. It looked like I think like a whoop section in a motocross track going down the backstretch. I mean, they were literally like like JD was like I saw him. He was like bouncing down the backstretch if you went too low. It was crazy. But honestly, I thought it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be really bad, really one lane, but it turned out to be both nights was really entertaining. So, I mean, hats
Yeah.
off to the drivers and crews on how to fix everything from Friday. But I mean, the track crew, they did what they could, I think.
I, I feel like every year going into Volusia, I'm like not that excited. And then like I remember like every time it seems to put on like typically pretty good races and like I just forget about them every time. And then it's like, oh yeah, forgot this place races like good. Like I just such
Yeah.
a hater towards half miles that I forget that Volusia can actually put on a good race.
Well, I mean, the Hannah and Ruben talked about it quite a bit in the lead up to both shows, but I guess it's got a bit of a D shape or an egg shape to it. So that, kind of throws a little bit of a curveball. It's not your typical half mile. So um I definitely I can notice the backstretch guys really trying to take different ways to get in there, and that makes some interesting racing for sure. So um yeah, I'm definitely excited to get the mods out there here soon. But
yeah, it.
uh,
I mean, I don't know. It's. I mean, there's like 15. We have 15 straight nights, I think, of racing or something,
yeah.
maybe more coming up in Volusia. But I mean, then also one last touch on the late model situation is we have 31 drivers
Yeah.
admitted to the World of Outlaws this year, and about 25 of them happen to be rookies apparently.
Actually, only
Well,
only
that might be
nine,
a little,
only nine are rookies according to their
Oh,
points.
oh,
sure.
only nine. But as of now, how many do we feel comfortable saying are running Lucas Rookie of the Year points? One.
Just one, yeah, Dan Ebert.
One. Dan Ebert. He's the only one we know for sure that has like been like we're running this. So that's kind of crazy.
That's going to be the most interesting thing I think is going. They don't. Nobody really has to commit until March. But if you have just not to discredit Dan Ebert because he actually ran better than expected. He made the
Mm-hmm.
show at Volusia on Friday and looked decent until he got into a crash. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, new to late model, relatively new. He's run some late model stuff. And I learned that he's actually an X Games medalist in snowmobiles, so he's just
Yeah.
off the wall. But you know, I mean, you have to think somebody's going to say that a seasoned late model driver, maybe he's committed to Lord of Allah, say, hey, maybe we should go run Lucas, even if we missed that first race. I mean, because you're only down one race. I mean, how many points is that really? So, I mean, somebody might defect
True.
and say, I'm going to run that.
There there may be some penalty. I think there's something to do with they don't get to use the drop feature if they don't have perfect attendance. But maybe you still roll the dice. I don't know. I think one guy that I believe did race Golden Isles, um, who I think would also be a rookie, I think is Ethan Dotson.
Yep.
So, I could like win by default kind of thing if I wanted to. But no, I think that's interesting. Like he's second in Woo points. Like but I mean, we looked it up before the show. There's some incentive potentially to go run Lucas for someone. The discrepancy in rookie of the year payouts, we think it's nearly double to win Lucas as compared to Wu. So like, I mean, if Dan's the only one to run it, like, congrats to him. But I think there's going to be people who
There
are going to feel the draw to get over there.
there is one. I think there was one other Woo rookie that ran Golden Isles, and it was Daniel Hilsebeck. So I think him and
Correct.
Dotson, if I remember right, were the only two that like Woo guys that could go jump over to Lucas and try to snatch that that bigger rookie payout as far as we know.
Hmm.
So
And
Yeah.
Dotson's such an odd case because I feel like he could easily be top 5 in points in either series. I feel like he's not like a super traditional rookie where he's shown. I mean, he's shown really a lot of speed, and so I mean, he could. I mean, I don't think he's going to win the championship. I mean, who the hell knows this year because crazy things are happening in the late model world. But I mean, he could be a really top guy in either series. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what you do. I
It,
feel like he's a shoe in either way.
I
Not
feel
a
like
shoe in. I mean, anything can happen, but
he might stay Woo just because like since as you're saying he can finish high up in the points, and I feel like he's got a better shot to
that,
finish like third in the points versus like fifth or sixth in Lucas. And I'm assuming Wu pays more for third versus Lucas's sixth place. I know Lucas does pay a bit more than Wu, but I can't imagine third and sixth would be like equal. I'm assuming he'd get more there, and
yeah.
unless something terrible happens like second week of Volusia and he does great with Lucas, I'm assuming I'd probably say he stays Wu unless
I mean, yeah. I mean, it really, I think it really does come down to that, like, where does it all shake out when we're done in 3 weeks? But, um, yeah, he's a good test case, right? Of like following the results because he's sitting. I don't remember what happened with him at Golden Isle, but assuming he runs the rest of them, it may not be relevant at just with how fast he's been at Volusia the last 2 days. So,
yeah.
like,
And
yeah,
they've only
uh,
had one Lucas race run all year, so
yeah.
even if you had a bad night at Golden Isle, like easily could come back from that. So,
Hmm.
um,
Yeah.
if you want, we can move on to the mods now at Volusia.
Probably. Yeah, yeah. I think we have. So in doing research, I think we decided that there are two races this weekend in conjunction
Three
with
races.
3 races. I'm sorry,
Yep.
3 races in conjunction with um World of Outlaws sprint cars, and then the next week is the bigger, broader sort of like Gator Week.
This week is with ASCS, and then next
ASCS. I'm
Gator Week
sorry.
is with World of Outlaws, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
But
There we
I
go. And
think
probably late models, maybe too. I don't know. Whatever. Let's not get too in the weeds. Mods is what we focused on. So the support classes, if you will, we don't know who they are anyway. So all I know is Carter made a joke last episode that I'm still laughing at, that the sprint car fans are not going to be enthused that there's 100 plus mods on site.
and
But
this week is pretty much like a tune-up for Gator Week that you get paid to run instead of just practice. So that's kind of how I look at this week. And then it's a full
yeah.
show each night too, because obviously, assuming they didn't change it, Gator Week's like qualifying and like a million features, like
Hmm.
no heats or anything. And this week it's heats, Bs, features all 3 nights.
Okay.
and you know, I honestly I understand why they do the kind of split format with features and Gator
Oh
Week,
yeah.
but we prefer the full
Yeah.
show.
That is,
I mean,
yeah.
even though it was cool to see Travis Pastrana of all people win a UMP modified feature, it's still I mean it's still like the full show. And you know, they actually, if you go to on my race pass right now, they have 27 modifieds currently entered. I'm sure that's gonna go up a little bit. You know, there's your normal kind of drivers that you'd expect to be there. But I wanted to touch on one because I think he has one of the best names in all of racing, not even just modifieds. Ethan Boomsma. That is one of the coolest names out of
That is a
Indiana.
pretty cool name.
I mean, yeah, I don't have much analysis on that other than his name sounds really good. And I think I've seen him win some races out in that area, so I'm gonna be
Yeah.
watching him.
Yeah, I think we saw Austin Holcomb was gonna go. I think Michael Long is headed down, I saw as well. So that's your Mars and UMP national champ last year. So
Holcomb will be
uh,
there for Gator Week. He's
for
skipping
Gator
this
Week.
weekend. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah,
Yeah,
guys,
and then
your big guys like Lucas Lee. I actually just have it pulled up here. Matt Crafton will be there, and I know he's kind of. I know Daytona NASCAR is coming up, so he'll be kind of probably shuffling around between those two tracks. I
Does he
assume.
still run trucks?
Yeah,
Oh, I don't watch it.
oh,
I didn't even know.
nice.
I don't know if he's full time. I think he's full time still. I'm not real sure, but Ken Trader's gonna be there.
I know he
So I
doesn't
mean,
race
like,
NASCAR anymore.
Yeah.
are you
No,
sure?
no. Kenny Wallace is going to be there. He also doesn't, I don't think, races NASCAR anymore. So, Justin Allgaier, I believe, is going to be there for some portion of it, and I believe he does indeed run NASCAR. So, maybe Kyle Larson will just show up in a modified for the heck of it. He runs
I don't think he's
NASCAR.
ever he's run like everything else besides a modified,
No,
right?
no, he ran a mod at Eldora last, I think it was last year or 2 years
He did.
ago. Yep, he won. Because he ran at Eldora and then Brownstown. I think it
Okay.
was Allgaier's mod. It was the seven, number seven. That's Allgaier, right?
So what you're
Yeah.
saying is
Yeah.
he's
Yep.
scared of Matt Shepard and doesn't want to run a big block.
I don't think he just has had the time yet. Give it time. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Imagine Kyle Larson at Super Dirt Week. Let's do that.
Uh, yeah. Like touching on previous conversations, you're gonna be really sad when he wins it.
I won't be sad.
But anyway, Strickler's gonna be there. Sort of tying this into what we also did watch was Ocala, and we watched UMP, the beginning of UMP Speed Weeks at Ocala. At least I did. I watched a couple of days. I think y'all did too. Um, but Devin Dixon won the big check. Um, I believe Strickler won one night, and
And
then I think
Jason Garver, yep.
Jason Garber. Yeah. One of my big takeaways it was a primarily Florida heavy field, but those guys represented really well. The Florida guys kept, a lot of cash home. So, um, what'd y'all think? You had
Well,
to have some takeaways.
I actually I saw some drivers. I think Zeke McKenzie and a few other drivers said they were loading up going into that first night because it was all the snow. I mean, I had down here in Mississippi, I had 5 inches plus of snow, and so I think it kept a lot of guys away. Chase Holland out here in Mississippi, he didn't even get there until that night of the first one, so he missed the first night because of the
Hmm.
snow. And so I think that really played havoc. And some of the drivers, I think, Florida down there, they got rain, so they're like, the track's
Hmm.
not going to be great. We're gonna we're gonna save the car for Volusia is basically what everybody said. Save the engine, but
Yeah.
outside of it being slimy to start out with on that first night, I think it was Thursday, right?
Yep.
It was
Yeah.
track was great. Like there
Hmm.
was maybe like one rut or something like minor, but all 3 nights the track was great. I mean, it wasn't rough.
No.
I even posted on social media. I was surprised, and I was like, I can't believe they pulled it off. And you only had, I think, 22 mods the first 2 nights, maybe 23 second, and then it bumped up to 25 for the big show
Hmm.
on Saturday. But I thought it was great. I missed
I thought it
Friday.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was awesome too. Like, um, Saturday was honest. Honest feedback. There was a lot of cautions, and a lot of them were because of solo spins. So that track definitely, you could tell it was giving them fits, like in a good way. It stinks sometimes that it results in these spin outs on restarts and stuff, and innocent guys get collected. But once they got going, once they could get a couple in, man, they could put the whole thing was available to run. There was nowhere they couldn't put the car. Um, I think I think Bubba and the announcer were remarking on Saturday quite a bit. Like, we've never seen mods all the way up there. We've never seen them all the way at the top of the track, and they could just run everywhere. It looked great.
Something they did talked about a lot is they took the shelf away on top of the track, so they changed the track a little bit there. I
And then
didn't
I think he
realize that.
said added like 3 degrees of banking too.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah.
yeah, and some of the to your point, some of the drivers were actually talking about how the track was really hard to drive. There wasn't a lot of grip, and they loved it. Like they said, it
Hmm.
was like the best track they've raced on because you really had to manage the throttle and you couldn't just mash it. So
It was
Sounds a lot like East
crazy.
Bay. So
A little bit. Maybe
hopefully it stays
maybe
that
they
way.
took some notes. I mean, I will say, like, I recall, I think it was Todd Nienheiser, or however you say it, but on Saturday he was like running second, spun, went to the back, got all the way back up to, I want to say, like third or fourth again, looped it, and I think he still finished inside the top 10. Like, you
Clay
could
Harris.
definitely go. That Clay Harris.
Clay Harris. I admit I was at a hockey game, so I missed the first like I think 10 laps. Usually at a hockey game, we lost again all 3 games.
Good thing 90% of the cautions were in that first like 20 laps, so it worked out for you.
I watched almost the entire thing, but I mean outside of like 10 laps. But yeah, I mean Clay Harris. I think he started kind of up front, went to the back for some reason. Then he blitzed through the field. It looked like he might win it, and then it was a. I thought it was a really great battle. Devin, I think it was Devin Dixon and I think Harris at one point. Strickler, I think, was up there.
At one
Matthews.
point, DeYoung was up there at one point, I think, as well.
I think
Brad
he was
DeYoung for a
leading
little
most of
bit.
the race at one point,
Who's
and
that?
I think DeYoung was leading, or at least it was
I
up
think
there
so.
battling.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then Friday between Falloway and Strickler, I think it was a great race. And Cool Falloway, I think, has my favorite car of the season.
I was
That
hoping you'd
is
mention that.
such a slicker looking ride and wrap. I love that. But that was a good race. I didn't see, obviously I didn't see Friday, so I can't comment on that. But street stocks were good. Devin Moran in a street stock on Thursday.
Yeah.
I think it was Tim Pratt, I believe, the local guy. They battled, and Tim Pratt, he said it was his biggest accomplishment of his career, racing with Devin Moran. So I
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and there was
He
nobody
took home
there.
the win. He won. The Top Pratt won, right? Man came home second. So
Yeah, Moran didn't
that's
even win it.
awesome. Yeah.
But there's nobody in the stands. I get it. I mean, I get it. But I mean, I think Scotty McBride was there, and Cade Dillard was there watching Strickler race, I believe. CDR. I don't
Yeah,
think
that makes sense.
Strickler wasn't in a CDR, but
No, he was in a Jeff Matthews. I don't know what Jeff Matthews runs, but that was one of Jeff Matthews' cars. So
yeah,
I thought those looked slick, by the way, too. Just as an aside, I really did like those cars.
yeah, it
Um,
was. I know nobody was there, unfortunately, but it was a good show for what it was, and I think it was a really good kickoff for the mods. Street Stocks put on a show, even in a show
heck
in the
yeah,
big show on Saturday, 7,500 to win.
yeah,
Ivan Lloyd won. Uh, ex late model, big time late model guy. Well, at least
yeah.
when I used to watch. So that was
Speaking of like going to the front, I think he went to the back twice as well. Once for sure, I know he went to the back,
yeah.
but I think it may have been twice. And he's still in 75 laps, went all the way to the front and drove away. At the end of it, he was gone, man. He was cooking. That was something else.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna mention that street stock feature was like really good at point. Like there was a point where there was like 4 or 5 cars like right right there. Because I paid, I'll be honest, I paid more attention to that one than the mod feature because I was getting sick of the cautions and then I was like, all right, let's watch the street stock feature. This is what I've been waiting for all night. Finally, we get to it. So
then
Yeah.
Spencer Hughes was up there in his Jimmy Owens skewed body special street stock.
Tyler Nicely, another mod
Rather
guy.
nicely, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Battled up there.
Nicely wasn't even in a mod, and I
Mm-mm.
recently found out he's going late model racing this year. Apparently,
Oh, anything more? Or you just know he's going late model
No,
racing.
I
he
saw it on
posted
Facebook.
he posted
Apparently, I was
on
late to the.
Facebook, yeah, that he's going late model racing, and on its post, this was from like December or something, and it said like we don't know what series yet, but we'll announce it when we find out. So we know it's not Lucas or Wu. So I'm guessing he's going
Yeah,
regional racing.
Mars.
But I could see him
Mars
going
sounds
Mars. He
like
ran the modified portion of it, so why not run the late models?
I,
yeah.
I was late to the party on that one, so I don't really have all the information. I remembered that I read that. So
Oh, well,
that
that is interesting.
you had so many. There's so many weird things that have been going on in Florida with from the Woo, Bruning winning. Well, that's Georgia, close enough, but Bruning winning his first race. Bobby Pierce not performing, RTJ not performing well, Dotson running well. You had Devin Moran in a street stock, Tyler Nicely in a street stock.
It's speed weeks. Anything can happen, apparently. And to that point, real quick, I want to add one more thing. At Ocala, I am pro choose cone and I am pro backstretch restarts. I thought that was awesome. I
They were
enjoyed that.
they were starting not even at backstretch. They were starting like turn two.
I dug it.
It was basically just And you know what's funny though is I remember watching highlight videos from Grandview Speedway from years ago. They kind of do the same thing there, where they start on the backstretch, and it kind of leads to chaos at Grandview and 358 modifieds.
That's because the Northeast modifieds can't go straight, so they always crash. That's what happens there.
How
They
many
did
yellows are
crash.
in the modified race, Carter?
What?
How many yellows are in the
Yeah,
modified
but that
race
was
at
on the
Augusta?
corners. Our guys can't drive in the corners. The Northeast ones wreck on the straightaway, and then 18 other cars pile in at the same time.
We'll see what happens this week at Volusia. And speaking of Volusia, sorry I'm kind of tying this back here, but Ray Bollinger, who's been down in Florida for about a month now and has run one race, should be returning to action at Volusia. He finished second down at Hendry County to Devin Dixon, and then skipped Ocala, and now he's going to run Volusia. So I was kind of looking forward
Yeah.
to seeing some of those guys run at Ocala, but what are you going to do?
I mean, I get it. They had to. There was two shows I think that got basically snowed out, rained out, however you want to call it, right? And then, I mean, you get to and it was cold too.
They're
Like
from
in
the Midwest,
addition,
though. They can handle cold.
ah, no, we were having a bit of a chat in the Discord. I don't know. I didn't weigh in, but my take was is like if I go to Florida, I don't want to deal with what I can be dealing with at home. Like if it's not going to be nice, I'm probably just not going to bother. So I get it. It's supposed to be a vacation, not
And
October.
and I know we're going up to Georgia a little bit here, but speaking of, as we're recording this, on Monday, the Hunt the Front race got rained out at Needmore. So, I mean, it's just kind of a little bit rainy and a little bit
Everywhere,
cold.
Yeah,
everywhere down there. Yeah.
yeah,
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 a little
yeah.
bit of bad
Feels
luck.
like a lot
But
of feels like they could do a lot of driving and not a lot of race in some stretches. So, uh, but yeah, I mean, so that's kind of my takes on Ocala and Speed Week so far. Anything else y'all want to add, or should we jump in and touch on Ernie Mincy early thaw real quick?
I don't
yeah,
think
I'm
I
good.
got much more from Ocala.
Yeah,
All right.
I've been enjoying a lot of rainouts, but
What we've
it's been
gotten of Speed
enjoyable so
Weeks.
far. What was that?
Yeah,
So what we've gotten so far of Speed Weeks.
yeah.
Hey, it's been enjoyable. I think every single race I've watched has been good. So
Hopefully it
looking
stops
forward to.
raining for the rest of it.
I think Volusia's supposed to be gorgeous this week and next week too. I don't know. I've been seeing people mention brighter days ahead.
Are
So
the are
here's
the
the hoping.
are
Yeah,
the
we were
Florida
down to.
guys? Go ahead.
I was gonna say a week ago we were down to I think 9-degree wind chill, and now we're up to mid 60s here. So
Oh
Yeah, we had
yeah,
38 up here today. That's pretty good.
yeah.
I wonder
It
if
was above freezing.
are the Florida guys not going to race because it's going to be too warm for them when they won't, just like the Illinois guys. You said they go to Florida and it's cold. They're not going to race.
No,
So are the Florida guys not going to race because it's warm? They should go to the
no,
Midwest in October.
they're not on vacation. They're putting in work and cashing checks right now. This is money making season, Carter. Those guys aren't trying to relax. They've been waiting
they,
for this. This is when they get to cash in and make some money.
see, that's what we should do. We should draw a line in the middle of the country, and in the fall, the southern guys go race in the north, and then just flip it.
Flip it for the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a national touring schedule, pretty much. But anyway, so after our clunky that was like a Minnesota transition. We transitioned, then we went back, and then now we're going for it. But anyway, uh, so we got the Ernie Mincy early thaw going on in Central Arizona. Obviously our attention was elsewhere, but we're following along and keeping abreast of kind of what's going on. Um, I think the biggest headline moving forward is that the mods point leader we think is leaving Central Arizona, and so someone else is going to win that mini series title. So I think TBJ is heading home after winning on Saturday, cashed a big check and is boogieing out of there.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
his original
oh, you go ahead,
plans
Kurt.
were to run just the first week, and I don't think it'll change unless the points are a pretty good payout. But I mean, he's not even driving his own car, so and I don't know who knows what he's got going on this weekend. He might be in Volusia. You never know. You've been down there before, so
Yeah,
But
that's true.
but on the bright side
Maybe
for
it's
Chaz
Rookie of the
Baca,
Year, Barry Jr.
yeah, maybe just hops on right now. But now Chaz Baca, he will be the points leader if it holds true and Tom Berry does leave. So
Yeah.
Baca's starting where he left off. I mean, I what he lost. The IMCA. Why am I blanking on the name last week? Central
Winter
Arizona
Winter
Winter
Nationals,
Nationals.
Winter Nationals. He lost by
Yeah.
1 point to Proxima. He's only down 5 to TBJ, and he's going to be most likely inheriting the points lead. I mean, he's just racking up IMCA national points or again. I mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna be tough to stop him. So
Yeah, and I mean, we were looking at it before, and Proxima won the last mini series, so theoretically, he's the national points leader at the current, or was at the current moment. And I think Carter, you had mentioned it didn't even look like he ran on
he
Saturday
ran.
this past
Yeah,
week.
he only ran Friday. And I think
Okay.
Thursday, I'm pretty positive Drew Jansen, who we've talked about, drove his car on
Hey, my
Thursday
guy.
because it was
I did.
number 111, which I'm pretty sure is Proxima's car. So, and I know they are friends, so it would make a lot of sense for him to be in that car.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Saturday, neither of them drove. So I don't know if they went home or just said we're gonna
Hmm?
go hang out in the sand dunes or something. I don't know what they were doing.
Something better to do. I don't know. Well, but
and
yeah. Uh,
if we didn't mention this, we had somebody reach out to us and mention that Shelby Williams. We talked about Shelby Williams on this podcast many times. In
mhm.
his own chassis, he's won a couple races. I think 3 or 4 races already, and I think he picked up 2 more in the stock cars. He's up to
He's up
5
to
now.
5 now. Yep,
Yeah,
he's up to 5 per our friend Mark. He's up to 5 now. So thank you, Mark, for keeping us in check on that one. Um, I did want to mention another winner too. The Millennial Farmer, Zach Johnson, picked up a win in a late model on Saturday, so that was pretty neat. I think Dylan Thornton won on Friday,
Thursday. I think Thornton won the
Thursday,
first day, and then Clayton Stuckey won
Friday.
the
Yep,
other
that's
day.
it.
Yeah.
Yep, yep. Yeah, those two had an involvement in that one. That one's been all over social media.
and
Uh,
I mean, Stuckey's leading the points there, and Jarrett Stuckey, he's had some medical issues over the past week, significant heart issues. So thoughts out to that family as
yeah,
well.
absolutely.
So we don't know what's going to happen with Clayton or whatever. But he's up there. He's leading the points by
Yeah,
27, which is more than anybody in any division, really. But so
yeah,
thinking about the Stuckey family as well.
absolutely. Thoughts and prayers for sure. Yeah, and then I think I don't know. I'll get my shameless Wasota plugs in. So Jake Smith is leading the limited mod points, and Max Nelson is leading the super stock points, which is actually a bit of a curveball for me. I kind of thought that Dexton Cook would go down there and kind of run wild, but it looks like Max is giving him all he can handle. So that's awesome. I'm glad they're getting awesome super stock racing down in Arizona. So
It's funny because we just sat here and we talked about super stocks. We're just like Dexton Cook, but no, he's tied for
yeah,
third. Well, he's tied for second in points, but I guess he's listed as third. But
Is he
um,
tied with Henkelmeyer?
yeah,
I think
yeah,
yep,
he
yep.
won one of the nights, if I remember right. But
Yeah,
yeah.
they did. So
So,
3 different races, 3 different winners. Hankenmeyer won the first night, Dexter Cook won the second night, and then Max Nelson won the third night. So 3 races, 3 winners. So those
and
guys are
only
really chopping it up.
10 cars and 3 different winners. I mean, that's pretty
Yeah.
good.
yeah,
Yeah.
I, I mean, these things. I mean, I've seen races where it's been my favorite race of the year was only 5 to 10 cars. So I mean, just because you have a low car count doesn't mean it's gonna be bad racing.
Yeah, you get the right guys and they can definitely chop it up.
Especially those awesome Wasota Super Stocks, which are the best class in all of racing, even though I've never seen them in person.
We'll have to get you up here this summer and have you have you take some in and really be able to feel the awesomeness that is that class because they do put on some awesome races. So,
I got a hot take.
but
I do
yeah.
not like the super stocks that much. I'll be honest. I've seen them a few times, and I've never been a huge fan of them. Give me the Wasota street stocks any day of the week over the super stocks.
They both race great, so I don't know. I like for me the super stocks is usual that usually involves someone coming from the back and chopping up to get to the front. That's normally what I experience. So they're always good races to me.
I
It's
don't
either
dislike
Dexton
them,
or
I should
Shane
add.
or
I'm not. They're not that low. There's only a couple classes that I generally dislike, but they're just not my favorite WSOTA class.
fair enough. Fair enough. They're also good. I get how it would be hard to choose your favorite. So I understand how that would happen. But anyway, well, I think that's more or less all we know about the Ernie Mincy early thaw. So with that, I think Julian, we have previewed and pre-previewed a show a number of times, and I think it's finally gonna go. So give us the rundown. Hey, we're banking on it. So let's do this.
This is supposed to happen the week of the Dome. I-37 Speedway, I think promoted by Steven Whitaker. 10,000 to win IMCA mods, 6,500 to win, I think, limited mods.
Yep.
Down in Texas. This has been one of the biggest IMCA shows going on, and it hasn't happened because it got rained out. And then it's been rescheduled to this week. And then, of course, after nothing severe goes on for I don't know how many weeks, Texas is getting some severe weather again this week. So they've now shuffled the show to Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
And so everything's getting shuffled around, but we think it's going to happen. And it should be a good show. They've been, it's on RaceOn, I think raceon.com, I believe is the new name. Used to be
Yeah,
RaceOn
the
Texas.
former Race on Texas. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and so it'll be on there if you want to watch it, Saturday, Sunday, and there are gonna be some big names there. One Kate Dillard is gonna be driving for Steven Whitaker there. Some of the bigger IMCA guys, Isaac Malakote will be there. Chris Zog, so it's a couple IMCA guys. I
William
saw
Gold.
William Gold also as well. I saw. Now you made me. I forgot what I was gonna say there. But I'm
Cameron
sorry. One of
Safari.
the I was gonna. It's on the tip of my tongue. The only one I didn't write down, but he's coming from Milton, Florida, actually. So
Joseph Joyner.
Jonathan Joyner.
I think he has some hunt the front stuff going on, Carter.
One of them bought an IMCA modified.
Uh,
Joseph or
It was
Jonathan.
it was the one that
Jonathan.
was number
See,
56.
now I'm really mixed up.
There's too many
Yeah,
joiners.
it's Jonathan Joyner, who I've meant to be the one for the road for like 2 weeks now to be like everyone's getting into modified.
Barnhill. That's the name.
Oh, yes.
And it threw me off because they put his name wrong in the poster thing. And so it even threw me off more. I'm just all messed up now. But I-37 Texas Showdown, 10,000 to win IMCA modifieds. Kate Dillard in an IMCA modified, defecting from USRA.
I think it's a one-off thing. He's just gonna go collect
We
check.
don't know.
To
There's
be
so many
fair,
guys. There's 31 full timers with Woo this year. Maybe
he's
he's gonna
got
be
a
running
full.
IMCA national points.
Yeah, bad
He's got a
points
full.
week at Volusia. All of a sudden, boom, he's going IMCA racing for the rest of the year.
He
Marshalltown
has a
Weekly Flow
full
Racing.
business selling USRA
You think of it, how much
gentlemen.
more business he could get if he was selling IMCA. He could, I mean, IMCA is the biggest sanction, so
I'm like over here trying to correct one misstatement, and now we're making other wild ones. I want to be clear. Jonathan Joyner's not going to be at this show, right? That's not where he's not going to be there. That's not what you were hinting at, was it?
no,
I don't know.
it was
That's what
Barn.
Carter said.
No,
Barnhill. There we go.
Barnhill. Yes, he's the one that's
Yeah,
going.
there we go. Thank you very much. Let's correct that. So anyway, um, it should be fun. It sounds like a good race. No, if me and Carter were talking while you were trying to remember his name, and I felt like we left the impression for sure Joyner was going to be there. And I really didn't want us to put our foot in our mouth like that.
I think he just bought like a trailer over the weekend. I've been kind of following along on Facebook.
No,
I think
he's got an IMCA mod now. He does.
yeah, like he just got it though.
Yeah, like
Like
a
last
week or like
week.
2 weeks.
He
Yeah.
just got a hauler. So
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna haul over to Texas with the threat of rain to break it in when he has kind of a clash on the coast
They're
deal
all
coming
tech.
up at his home track 10
Yeah.
seconds down the road.
And probably racing it all track with Lucas. I think that's the plan for those guys. Anyway, so
We're
we've
off
gone
the rails.
completely off the rails. That means, Carter, it's time for
The one for the road. And I will start. My one for the road is so Ryan, our friend Ryan, recently informed me and us, I guess, that a website called roamingtheraceways.com, I believe it is. It's pretty much a website for like track chasers, people that go to a bunch of different racetracks. So you can add your list on there, and it was originally 100 tracks, and they changed it to 50, which means I am now eligible to go on there. And I just got my list added on there earlier today, this morning. So um, I think I'm at 53, and our friend Ryan's two ahead of me with 55. So hopefully I can pass him. But the problem is me and him go to the same races, so I don't think I'll pass him anytime soon.
And
But
I got
yeah,
roped into doing this by you, and I started working on my list. I had to redo my list because we don't count drag strips on roaming the raceways. Even though they're
only circle
racetracks,
tracks,
I don't
only
get
yeah.
that.
circle.
But
I think it just has to go like it has to connect at one end, like a
Okay.
road course would count as one. But
Okay.
yeah,
Straight lines is not racing, Julian. Apparently, that's not a raceway. That's a drag strip. You got to
they're
find
not race
roaming the
car
drag
drivers.
strip.
There's not race cars. Drag cars are not race cars.
Hmm.
But I take your ass.
All
Yeah.
right.
Well,
So roaming the raceways.com.
yes. Let me
Right on.
confirm. It'll take me 3 seconds. Yes,
All right.
that is the name of it. Roaming the Raceways. I've looked it up so many times, it's right there. So,
You've been updating the winter months. All
but
right.
and
Um,
we added to my Twitter earlier. I did post a link to my list on my Twitter if you do want to look it up. So it is on there.
right on. All right. Julian, you want
yeah. So
to take us, you go second?
yeah. So I have one. I actually just came across this as we were about to start the show, but I thought it was too cool not to mention. And I'm gonna butcher his name because honestly, I've never heard of the driver. But I want to give him a plug. It's Jamie Oshust, Oshust Racing on Facebook. He's a Wissota Midwest modified driver from Thunder Bay, Ontario. He runs the Emo Speedway, some other tracks, Thunder Bay, which is like the toughest Piedmont field in the country on a weekly basis. But he runs up at those tracks, and he's doing something kind of cool here. He's calling it Thunder in the Fields. And there's going to be 500 spots on his race car this year, and they're $20 each. And you can enter your name as many times as you like, pick your spots, and your name will be on the deck lid. And so check that out on his Facebook. He has his contact information on there, and he's doing some weekly giveaways for pit passes and his team shirts and everything like that. So check him out. Get your name on the card, $20. That's nothing. Support a guy that's trying to get out there and go racing. And yeah, so check him out.
If you buy every
Yeah.
single spot,
Yes,
Well,
so it is, or all over the
we're
deck
just
lid.
we're just gonna have a giant Dirt Info podcast on the deck lid.
we are.
Yes, your Josh is sponsored.
was I was unaware that was in our budget, gentlemen. uh, well, we probably will grab one. Not gonna lie, we probably will grab one. Um, but yeah, all right. With that, I think that leaves me. And so for my one for the road, I actually noticed. Well, I think a lot of people noticed, but Woo put out sort of a bulletin or a rules update, kind of I'll paraphrase, but essentially sort of outlining any gambling from drivers, team personnel, crew, officials, staff, from placing, soliciting bets, basically no gambling at their events. And could be one of two things. It could be in response to something, but I feel kind of like it's in preparation for something, and it feels like this is probably in preparation for some sort of announcement. It could maybe even be a title sponsor of the series, but this feels like there's going to be some betting coming into the Woo universe, which, they wouldn't be the first. I believe USAC kind of dipped their toe and were the first ones. That's where the you, if you really want to just point, you could say, well, they're running a show with USAC, and maybe that's what they're trying to get out ahead of. But I don't think it is. I think it's their own thing. Um, and then High Limit has also, I believe, been available to place wagers on as well. So it looks like betting's coming for dirt racing, and so hopefully the money follows, and hopefully not so much all the other crap. I'm not going to make any moral stand here. I gamble. I like going to the casino. Hey, do what you want to do. It's not what it's about. I just think it's interesting, and I'm curious. I want to see what the next bit of news is about this, because it felt a teeny bit out of left field just for them to just be like, oh yeah, here on a Monday you can't gamble on our stuff. It's like, well, all right, there's more to that story, and I want to know what it is. So that's kind of what I'll be watching this week.
I want to see if they're going the gambling route. I want to see the odds, because I remember the first USAC night where they allowed the betting. Some of the odds were very wonky, and people made a lot of money. I think.
Yeah.
So I mean, if David Gravel's like plus 800, you might want to put some money down on that.
That's not gambling advice, by the way. We're not offering any gambling advice. We're just
No,
saying if you
I
see something you
don't
like, go
gamble
for
anyway. I don't gamble anyway, so
No,
it.
I don't like putting my money towards things when I might not get it back or anything in return, I should say.
I'm the only degenerate here, but I do enjoy me some gambling from time to time, done responsibly, and only with what you can afford to lose. As simple as that. But anyway, I'm curious. Like, I don't know. I noticed FanDuel all of a sudden runs sports networks in my area. Like, it was that whole Fox into whatever into. I don't know if you guys remember this with regional sports, but anyway, FanDuel runs a regional sports network now, and that seems random, but I mean they're all over the sporting landscape, so I would not be shocked to see some sort of tie here. And I'm not saying FanDuel specifically, but there's a ton of players in that game, and one of them is going to step up, so I won't be shocked.
And I don't. What about the late models? Do they have a title sponsor yet?
Nope.
They do not, right? And they don't have a Heat 1 sponsor either. So I don't know. We'll see. Honestly, we'll see. And whatever comes of it will be kind of interesting. We'll chat about it then, but I wouldn't be shocked if that's what it was. So some sort of betting sponsor is going to jump in on this. But anyway, moving along, I think with that, we're going to wrap up the show. So we appreciate y'all for sticking it out with us. And we mentioned where you could find us before. Also, could you just give us a like or share this with someone or tell a friend? I know we're always growing our audience, and we've got some regular listeners, and we try to drop in tidbits so y'all can feel appreciated. Yes, Julian.
We forgot this one, even though you cannot download the app right now if you don't already have it. We're on TikTok. We post
We are on
things
TikTok. Yeah,
so
we got
doom scroll on
info's
TikTok
everywhere.
and watch DirtInfo shorts.
Yeah, all the highlights. So, all right. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful night, and or day, or whenever the heck you're watching this, and we will see you on the next episode. Appreciate you.